My evil husband cheated on me, but I got my revenge. My husband and I have been together since high school. He is the only man I ever had a relationship with. My husband filed for divorce. He told me that he has been cheating on me for 10 years with his coworker, and they have a 9-year-old daughter together. He wanted a life with her. His coworker confirmed about the woman. People at the office knew about his 2 lives. Worse, his family knew about this. We have been married for 12 years and have 4 kids. After he confessed, the only thing I wanted was revenge. So I paid someone online to share his information. I took photos of his social security card, printed his basic information, and took photos of all of his credit cards, debit cards, and their pins. The best time to execute it was when he went on a 2-week vacation on a cruise with his other family, because I knew he keeps his phone off during vacations. His info went on the internet and got his card maxed out, drained his debit cards, and even used his identity to purchase a car. My evil wife unalived our child. My 9-year-old son and I got into a car accident when a group of teenagers hit my car from behind. When I found out that my son didn't make it, I just wished that I hadn't survived. I loved my boy, and there was not a day where I blamed myself for it. The death of my son put a toll on our marriage, and my wife blamed me every single day from the moment I woke up. She handed me our divorce papers while I was still at the hospital recovering. She didn't want to carry the costs of what happened and told me she wished it was me and not our son. She was never a good wife and never a good mom to our son, so it was easy for me to let her go. All I could do at that time was grieve. After my divorce, I went back to the hospital. I happened to cross paths with the doctor who tried saving my son, and I asked him frankly to tell me everything that happened on that day. He apologized and told me they did everything they could, but my son needed blood. When they asked my wife to draw blood from her, she told them they were not a match. She lied because I know they were. The doctors waited for a donor, but sadly, my little boy passed away in critical condition. My son would have been 21 right now.
Divorcing my wife after finding out our 3-year-old daughter isn't actually mine, but my family is taking her side. Me and my wife have been married for 7 years, with what I thought was our daughter is 3 years old. Well, this whole fiasco started 2 weeks ago after a day out with our daughter. My wife just sat me down in the evening and came clean about the fact that our daughter wasn't mine. Apparently, it was a guy from her gym, and it lasted a month before he just disappeared on her after he found out she was pregnant. I just broke down and started crying. She tried to comfort me, but I just pushed her away. I felt so disgusted with her. After I had calmed down a bit, I just grabbed my jacket and left for a hotel. While I was leaving, she just begged me to forgive her and that I was the only father her daughter knew. The next day, after I turned my phone back on, I saw she had blown up my phone and I just blocked her. I contacted a lawyer to start the divorce process. By the evening, my mom and sister were calling me on her behalf and were on her side, and that just hurt me even more. A few days later, after she probably got the divorce papers, my mom just sent me a long text that said I should step up and forgive her and not abandon my daughter, and that she would disown me if I went through with the divorce. My sister is infertile, so that's why my mom doesn't want me to continue the divorce, since she will lose her only grandchild.
I told my parents they could only be a part of my kids' lives if they gave me my inheritance. My grandparents passed away when I was very young. They left me an inheritance that would have paid for my education and helped me get started in life. If only my parents had left it alone. My cousins and older sister are all debt-free and own their own homes, but my dad decided that he could do better than the account my grandfather left my money in. I got $27,000 when I was old enough to get my money. That was about 10% of what everyone else got. My parents also lost a bunch of money trying to day trade. I have cut my parents out of my life. They were not invited to my wedding and they have not met my kids. My sister is childless, so I have their only grandchildren. My parents want them to be a part of their lives. I said that if they replaced my money with interest, I would forgive them and allow them to meet my kids. They say that I'm being ridiculous and that the amount of money I'm asking for would put a huge dent in their retirement fund. I asked them how much they would have if my idiot father didn't think he knew more about investing than my grandfather. It has been years, obviously, and I'm still pissed that they stole my future just for my father's ego.
My middle school bully got her karma. I looked up Bully's Facebook and it was quite shocking. To give you a context, she used to be a big bully. She was built like a giant with scary features and had the audacity to judge every girl at school. Anyway, she used to bully me for having good grades and also made fun of the daughter of our teacher, who was a special needs kid. On our bake sale, our kind teacher brought her daughter to school, and since then, she started mocking that poor kid. Every time she sees the teacher, she starts acting up disabled, limping on one side. Every time she was called out for not doing her assignment by the teacher, she would just start to limp on one side. It was sad and brutal. The teacher would just respond, "Your time will come, Kelly," with a big smile. Years later, I checked her Facebook and she posted a picture of her own kid celebrating his 3rd birthday. That kid got the same disease of the kid she bullied in middle school. I heard is that she got divorced by her husband right after giving birth to their son. Husband didn't want to raise a disabled kid, so he left her and married her best friend, while Kelly is still living with her parents and working at Walmart.
I pee on my husband's towel each night. My husband has a Boogie Wit hoodie. Because of this, it carries around a little drip with him after he pees that's collected in the extra skin. It stays there until it gets dislodged. When he's wearing clothes, it just rubs off on his knickers. But he sleeps naked, so at night, if he gets up to pee, he carries a little sample back to bed with him, which he then delivers to whatever part of my body he rubs up on. I've told him to stop this a million times, but he just thinks it's funny. I've told him he could just take a moment to wipe it on some toilet paper, but he refuses. I guess his willy might drop off. So for the last year, whenever I need to pee at night, instead of using toilet paper to wipe, I use his bath towel. He changes his towel every other day, but he showers twice a day, so it brings me a little joy. This does make me feel like we are even.
The twin girls I'm raising called me daddy today. I started dating my wife in our first year of college and got married by the third year. During our first date, she told me about being a single mother. She had twin baby girls and never told anyone who their father was. We kept going on dates, and I started to help her with the twins. Throughout college, we both did our best to raise the twins and focus on our studies. I avoided parties and social events. I even got a job to financially help my wife. After a year of dating, my wife finally confessed to me that her father was an abusive alcoholic who raped her throughout middle school and high school. When she was 16, her father got her pregnant with the twins. The same year, her father unalived himself after unaliving her mother. I am the only person who knows about this. It's been 6 years, and today, as I took the twins to the mall to get some new stuff they'd been asking for, we ran into some of their friends, and they introduced me as dad. I am the happiest man alive and can't be convinced otherwise. I tried to hold back the tears because I was so overwhelmed. I immediately faked having to go number one and went to the bathroom, where I wept uncontrollably in a stall as quietly as I could.